Shannon Sharp will tell you that. And so here's the story. I'm gonna read it to you, and I want you to share this with your son. It says here, when I got my first job making over $100,000 a year at the age of 31, the first thing my father told me was to never sleep with anybody on my job. So during my, and actually to be specific, he said, "Don't you f nothing on that campus." So during my years on the faculty of Syracuse University, I would see opportunities and situations emerge, and I knew to stay away from them. And that was just me listening to Daddy's advice. He's a police detective, so he'd seen a lot. So I respect my father and I listened to him. Another brother, who I don't think had a father, joined the faculty with me at the same time, and he ended up sleeping with a student. So this was a young brother who was he had more game than I did. He was a very handsome guy, and I remember we were on a panel together, and I remember him kind of flirting with the grad students. The because we were young, we were like early 30s, and these girls were as old as 24. So there's natural attraction that's going to happen. But me, I was like, no, I'm not letting you. I don't care how cute you are. You're not going to ruin all these years of hard work I put in to get in here, because I don't have anybody that's ever going to save me. And so he ended up sleeping with a student. And so what happened after that, this is an important story. I'm not going to say his name because he's still out there. But 8 months after they slept together, the student filed sexual misconduct charges against him, and it nearly ruined his career. So what they did, which was just, I thought it was just an abomination, is they put his mugshot on TV. Literally, like, people can't unsee your mugshot. So you're supposed to be a professor, and they got your mugshot on TV like you really were a criminal. And the crazy thing was they dropped the charges. They dropped the charges. He didn't actually get charged with anything. Everything they were charging him with, well, he did get charged, but I think the grand jury was like, this, there's nothing here. And it was filed 6 or 7 months after they stopped sleeping together. And the girl was like 24. He was like 34. There's nothing criminal about that. Now, sleeping with a student, that's an issue, obviously. I never would have considered that. But still, these were two grown folks doing what grown folks do, but apparently whatever happened made her upset, so she decides to just ruin him. And so literally this story, I'm sharing this because I'm hoping maybe it'll help somebody in terms of knowing what happens in the real world and things you got to watch out for. And I do believe it happened to him because he was a black man. And I personally think that black men have to be careful when it comes to our economics. So on my Instagram, I like to bring up stuff like that, because you got to remember that growing your wealth and protecting your wealth is far more complicated than just getting a good job or making lots of money or putting money in your 401k. It goes down to literally thinking about every single threat that exists that can take away your wealth. And believe me, when you are black, you have threats that you don't even know about. You have threats that you haven't even thought about. You have threats that nobody else has to think about. White women don't have to worry about the same problems that a black man has to deal with. So anyway, I hope that that was helpul. And so let me know if you were able to hear me. It looks like the chat's not moving, so now I'm a little bit worried because I'm not, either y'all being real quiet or there's an audio issue. So I'm just gonna keep talking as if you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can. So I'm gonna get out of here. I have a podcast on Spotify, so if you go to Spotify, you can find. I got two podcasts. One's called Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market. The other one's called the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, and so that's where I break down what's going on in the markets every other day, things like that. And also, don't forget, you can join us for my morning class. We have class every morning. It's called Money in the Morning, the Art of Economic Elevation and Financial Psychology.